What is up, my friends? Welcome back to another video, and today let's talk about how you can kickstart your 2022 in 3 ways. This advice can really apply to really any year, of course, but because this is the end of 2021 as of the time I'm recording this, this will be for the new year essentially in 2022. And before we really get into it though, if you don't have the technical aspects of music making up and running, I want to give you my composer's toolkit. It's a completely free guide that goes over the really essential elements that you need to really compose music and write music on your computer. So things like the DAW, an audio interface, sample libraries, all of that good stuff. It's all condensed into an easy to read and digestible guide. If you want to download it, it's totally free. Just click the first link in the description box below and it'll take you straight there. And it's my thank you to you for watching this video, just to make sure your bases are covered when it actually comes to writing music and making sure you have the proper equipment. But let's talk about the slightly more abstract side of things, right? Like, how do we actually prepare ourselves to really propel ourselves forward in the new year? And this advice will be a little simpler than you think, but super effective. If you apply even just one of these, this will make a big difference, I think. And I can give you these tips because they have actually worked for me, and I will continue to do these in the years to come. So step number one is to establish a workout routine, an actual physical workout. And this does not have to be anything super major, even if it's 10-15 minutes. It gets your blood pumping. It kind of resets your mind to think in a more structured way. And it's something to look forward to every day that you work, basically. So, you can kind of talk about the physical benefits, of course, like you lose weight and you feel better, you feel more fit, you get more strong. But mentally, it also establishes a sense of routine, like I just mentioned, right? So essentially, you could work out in the morning, in the evening, or in the afternoon, whatever works for you and according to your schedule. But for me personally, I've decided to really work out in the mornings, and I try to do it as early as possible so I have a lot of time in the day to actually work on what I want to work on, right? So typically I'll get up at 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning. I'll try to work out before 9 o'clock. So when 9 hits, I'm done, I'm showered, and then I can get into my office, into my studio by 10, 11 latest, and really get my work done before I have to teach my students later in the evening for piano or theory and so on and so forth. Or if I want to upload more content, then I have to work on that before I do my piano teaching, for example, right? But yeah, working out gives me a couple of benefits. Number one, it just makes me physically feel better. Number two, it clears my mind a little bit. So I feel like I've gotten my one chore done for the day, of like physically working out. And then it allows me to mentally think about what I want to do next. If I had to work out in the evenings, I would be thinking more like, oh, I'm working right now, but I have this other thing I have to do later in the evening of working out and so on and so forth. So it's not an absolute, like you don't have to work out in the morning or in the evening. Just decide what works for you and try to stay consistent with that. Now, in terms of how many times per week you should work out, anything between, I think, 3 to 5 times is pretty solid because you want to give your body a couple days to rest. So right now I'm doing anywhere between 4 to 5 days, Monday to Friday, and I'm following a program. So there's a wonderful channel on YouTube called Zeus Fitness, and Grant, the instructor, is a very good instructor. He takes you through. He has a couple of courses that you can take that go through like 6 weeks of training, 5 days a week. And once you go to the end, you feel a lot better and you can see the results for sure. So just a quick recommendation there. But that's basically step number one, is to take care of your physical health. Now, of course, in addition to working out, you want to be able to eat well as well. This is something I have to allow myself to do more, or push myself to do more, is watch what I eat, because I just love food. I'm born in the year of the pig and I really live up to that animal. And I love food. I don't consider myself a foodie. Like, I'm not a snob about food, but I love food in general, and most cuisines appeal to me. So anyway, number one is working out and taking care of yourself physically. Number two is establishing a portion of your day to actually write music. And this is pretty much going hand in hand with working out, right? So establishing, a number of days a week, anything from, let's say, 4 to 7 days a week. If you're super serious about it, then you can write music every single day. But for me, I'm doing music more as for a hobby, and I'm talking about actually writing music and composing music for my personal fulfillment. If I was to do it every single day, I think it would just be pretty draining for me. So establishing just a number of days and a block of time within each of those days to write music, let's say 15 minutes or 20 minutes or an hour or something, right? Establishing a set amount of time to write music is definitely very beneficial, because you're practicing your craft, you're coming up with new ideas, you're kind of discarding what you don't like and what you do like, and you get to play around with your tools and just have a lot of fun doing it, especially when there's lower pressure, you know? And so if you are requiring or if you are required by a client, let's say, to work on a larger project, then it's really easy to get up and running, because you've literally been practicing your musical muscles for, you know, consistently over months or days, however long you've been doing it. But I think actually just getting started and establishing a consistent writing routine, again, even if it's 5 to 10 minutes a day, or, you know, 10 minutes every other day or something, that can be super beneficial. But again, it's all about consistency and making sure that you're able to meet that commitment. So that's number 2, is establishing a regular writing block every single week. Then the third and final thing I can recommend is to establish a number of times or time blocks for learning, actual investing in education, because we can always output, right? As creatives and musicians and songwriters, we can always output, because that's literally why we got into the field, is to create music. But at the same time, we also want to internalize new concepts. We want to learn new things. So whether that's buying a new sample library, kind of learning the ins and outs of a new instrument, maybe you actually buy a physical instrument and learn that instrument, or maybe you buy, you know, an online course from someone else, or maybe one of my courses, or you join my membership, you know, you're basically investing in your own musical education, and that can only further your knowledge and your expertise and give you new ideas to experiment with in the future when you're writing your own music. So as important as it is to output and make sure you have your portfolio built out, it's equally important to internalize and absorb and intake, right? So, you know, to personally fulfill yourself, you're going to need to discover new ideas and find new ways to produce things, and, you know, just enjoy the process. So if you're constantly outputting, you will naturally feel stressed. I think it's just inevitable, you know, it's just human nature. Like if you're consistently outputting and you're consistently putting stuff out, then over, I don't know, weeks or even months, then naturally your creative juices will start to wane. So you know, allowing yourself time to actually input and digest information and applying that to your work is equally as important. So hopefully that kind of makes sense. Those are the 3 things. Number 1 is establishing a physical workout routine, so you actually keep yourself physically fit, because that's really important. As you know, as composers, we're literally sitting at our desks and working on music all day, so it's kind of unhealthy that way, right? And then number 2 is actually establishing times to actually make yourself write music, and treat it as exercise in a way. It's kind of like working out. And then third and finally is giving yourself time to actually learn things and educate yourself, and, you know, learn from courses or learn from YouTube videos or whatever it is. Give yourself time to actually internalize new concepts and just take those to apply to your new toolkit and then put into your own music in the future. Hopefully that kind of makes sense. Let me know if you have any questions about that. Maybe let me know which one of these concepts you are going to apply in the new year if you haven't yet, or if you're applying all 3, that's wonderful, but maybe which one do you want to get a little more disciplined on? For me, it would definitely be number 2, because I'm basically writing music just for pleasure. I don't really write on a regular basis every single week. I just write when I want to write, because it's just fun that way, and for me, it keeps the creative juices flowing when I don't feel pressure to write. But I do have a consistent workout routine, and I do have a consistent learning schedule, because I always like to learn new things, especially about online business and maybe new musical concepts here and there. But building the discipline in the musical writing, it can be something I can work on as well. And then if you don't have the actual necessary tools to actually write music yet, like the actual equipment, hardware and software, I want to give you my Composer's Toolkit guide in case you don't have it yet. And again, it goes over the very essential elements you need for your home studio. So it's totally free. If you want to check that out in the description box below, just make sure you have it, and it'll basically, again, just cover the bare essentials you need, because there's so much stuff you could be paying for and spending unnecessarily on So I want to give you the absolute things that you really need to get started, and no frills on top of that. Thank you again for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will catch you in the next video. Take care, my friend. Bye-bye.